When you walk around a Disney theme park, you are immersed in a magical kingdom that is full of wonder and mystery. But there are a lot of secrets that Disney doesn't want you to know. Here are a few of the biggest ones that we found. Last one may freak you out. If you like Disney as much as we do, subscribe to the Things channel to be the first to see our latest videos. And if you like this video, click the little thumbs up button and let us know in the comments. Now let's dive into the 10 dark secrets Disney theme parks don't want you to know. Objects are smaller than they may appear. There's an optical illusion at work in the Magic Kingdom that you may not know about. All of the architecture and design is whimsical and all-encompassing, but Disney had to rely on a few tricks to make that magic happen. One of those tricks is called forced perspective. Let us explain. You know how a building seems to get smaller as you look up at it? That's usually because that's how our eyes perceive the height of a tall building. Our brain tells us that the building isn't really getting smaller as our eyes look up at the top. It's just that the top of the building is further away, giving our eyes the illusion that it is getting smaller. Well, Disney used this trick of perception to their advantage. At Disneyland, the bricks at the top of the castle are actually smaller than the bricks at the bottom. This is also true for the Beast's Castle in Fantasyland. Cinderella's castle is 189 feet tall, but it looks much taller to our eyes because it's really smaller at the top. Apparently, Walt Disney was not allowed to make the building any taller without putting a red light on top to comply with aviation regulations. Cool trick, Walt. Fake American flags. If you've been to Disneyland or Disney World, you probably noticed a large American flag flying proudly in both parks. Many say that Walt Disney loved America and was proud to fly the flag at his theme parks. Every night, they take down the main flag in the daily flag retreat ceremony. The ceremony is done by members of Disney security, accompanied by a veteran who is visiting the park that day. But what about all the flags that fly atop of the buildings on Main Street? Federal regulations state that the American flag must be displayed properly, and it should be folded and put away in bad weather. If you don't take the American flag down at night, regulation order that the flag be properly lit and displayed. But the flags on top of the building are never taken down, and they are not properly illuminated at night. So how did Walt get around that one? Well, those aren't actually real American flags. If you were to count, you'd notice that these flags only have 45 stars instead of 50. Walt is pretty genius for figuring out a way to honor America without disrespecting the flag. That was a very clever way to get around those regulations, don't you think? No pointing. The staff at Disney's theme parks have to follow some pretty strict rules. For instance, did you know that they are not allowed to point with their index finger or say, "I don't know" to a guest? It's true. In other countries, it is considered very rude and offensive when people point with one index finger. So if you watch, you'll see the cast members pointing with two fingers if they need to point a guest in the right direction. They call this the Disney point. And if a guest asks a cast member a question, they are not allowed to answer with the phrase, "I don't know." Instead, members of the theme park staff must find ways to answer the question. They can ask other cast members until they find an answer. The intention behind this is to make sure guests are never lost, confused, or wandering aimlessly. It was important for Walt Disney that all guests have an amazing experience in which they feel like royalty. The cast members must also cover any tattoos they have and keep their nails and makeup clean and simple. And they are forbidden to chew gum, ever. Pretty strict, right? It seems to be working for the guests, though. Smellitizers. We all love the delicious scents of Disney theme parks, but did you know that they actually pump scents through the theme park to enhance the park-goer's experience? For example, on Main Street, they purposely keep a steady flow of freshly baked treats and vanilla. And that sea air and gunpowder scent in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, they pump it through the vents. There's a pretty musty scent that is pumped through a hidden vent in the Haunted Mansion as well. According to a former Disney theme park employee, the people who created the attractions at the parks, called Imagineers, understand the deep correlation between scent and memories. So when you smell baked goods and popcorn, it will automatically remind people of happy childhood memories of when they went to Disneyland or Disney World as kids. Is that why popcorn makes the Small World song play on repeat in our ears? Boy, Disney really did think of everything. And we have to admit, we all love those delicious aromas throughout the park. What's your favorite scent from the Disney theme parks? Share it with us in the comments. Is it the baked treats and popcorn on Main Street? Or do you prefer the sea salt and gunpowder scent from the Pirates ride? An act of Congress. Did you know that Disney needed an act of Congress in order to install the Great Seal of the United States in the Hall of Presidents in Disney World? Apparently, when Walt Disney decided he wanted to install the Great Seal of the United States, he needed to get an approval from the United States Congress. They had to take a vote and agree that the seal should be displayed there. Disney put a gate around the seal to protect it from guests walking on it or damaging it. It's a pretty big deal that it was approved because there are only 3 Great seals in the entire United States. One is in the Oval Office in the White House, one is in the hall where the Liberty Bell is displayed, and one is in the Hall of Presidents in Disney World. Pretty cool, right? That's more of a fun fact than a dark secret, but we found it interesting. Another fun fact about the Hall of Presidents is that the attraction changes every time a new president is elected. They sculpt the new president and create the animatronics, and then they shift the other presidents around to make room for the new guy or gal. Ashes of the dearly departed. This one is definitely creepy. There have been reports of people spreading the ashes of their deceased loved ones at the Haunted Mansion, as well as other rides throughout the park. Disney discourages this for obvious reasons, but that hasn't stopped people from doing it on the down low. Disney is aware of this and have hired special janitors who are charged with the task of cleaning up things like this so the parks can stay in compliance with public health codes. So don't worry, you won't see any ashes around your favorite rides. There was one instance of a woman who was caught on camera throwing a powdery substance on the captain's quarters inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. The ride operators had to call security and the police. By the time they arrived, though, the woman had vanished into the crowd. But the police did identify the mysterious dust as cremated remains. Oh, spooky. They had to shut down the ride on a very busy day in order to vacuum the remains up with a HEPA filtered vacuum cleaner. It took over an hour. Not cool. Thankfully, the park staff and security are definitely on top of it. We prefer our rides to be ash-free, thank you. A child's perspective. Did you know that Disney World's Cinderella fountain statue in Fantasyland is designed to look different to a child than it does to an adult? This is a pretty interesting secret. To a child, the mosaic design behind Cinderella's head makes it look like she's wearing a crown. That's because of the angle of a child's perspective is looking up from a shorter stance than an adult. To adults, it looks like the crown is floating above Cinderella's head. She also looks a bit melancholy from the adult perspective, whereas from the child's point of view, she's smiling. On the Disney Parks blog, they pointed out that this is to demonstrate that sometimes it takes the innocence of a child to see the truth in situations. Apparently, they used to offer photography classes for children at the park too. During this class, they shared this with the students. Another fun thing about the statue is that it's designed in a way that adults have to bend down to get water from the fountain, so it appears that they're bowing to Cinderella. The kids are the perfect height, so they don't have to bend down. Only the adults have to bow to the princess. The secret way to get a perfect score on Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin. On the Buzz Lightyear ride, defeating the evil Emperor Zurg and becoming a galactic hero is easy, if you know this secret shortcut. In the first room, there's a red robot on the left side. If you point and shoot your laser and hit the target on the robot's left hand, you'll get 100,000 points per hit. Then spin around and aim at the claw near the ceiling on the right side. The claw is easier to hit and will get you a max amount of points very quickly. In the second room, aim for the highest Z on the volcano. You'll get 50,000 points per hit. In the next room, you'll see Zurg on the right side. If you look at the bottom of Zurg's spaceship, you'll see a Z target. Do your best to hit that because it's worth another 100,000 points per hit. Even if you're a little tyke, you can still get points no matter if you don't hit a single target. If little ones keep their finger on the trigger and the laser for the whole ride, they will automatically get 1,300 points. So even the youngest rangers can rank as Space Scouts at the end. Sometimes the characters get sued. Who would want to sue Tigger or Donald Duck? Apparently, this is a thing. In 2008, a woman sued Donald Duck for inappropriate behavior at Epcot Center. The lawsuit was settled, but there were multiple allegations against Tigger in 2004. That was not Tigger's year. 24 people complained that they were groped inappropriately by Tigger that year. There was a trial for the actor playing the character, and he was acquitted of all the charges. He faced 15 years in prison if he was found guilty. In what must have been the most bizarre court hearing, the defense attorney actually put on the Tigger suit during his closing argument to demonstrate how difficult it is to see and maneuver in the costume. Another case in 1980 was brought against Winnie the Pooh. He was accused of slapping a little girl. During the trial, the actor skipped into the courtroom dressed as Winnie the Pooh and blew kisses to the people in the room. He testified that he had little stumps for arms, making it impossible for him to hit anyone. A jury deliberated and came to a not guilty verdict pretty quickly. It's a pretty tough gig being inside one of those big fuzzy costumes, don't you think? The underbelly. There are lots of things that are hidden from the guests at the Disney theme parks. One of the things that many guests don't know about is the underground labyrinth of tunnels under the park. park. As legend has it, Walt Disney was strolling around Tomorrowland and Disneyland when he saw a cowboy character from Frontierland. Walt thought it would disrupt the guest experience to see the wrong character in the wrong land, so he created a series of underground tunnels that were only accessible to the cast of the park in Disney World. Another secret Disney doesn't want you to know is that the waters in the water rides, like the one in Storybook Land or the Jungle Cruise, are dyed green. They do this to hide the tracks and keep the magic alive. The green water also keeps parkgoers from seeing all the dirt and junk that ends up in the water. Another rather unpleasant secret that the parks keep under wraps is that a lot of people get sick. There is so much junk food and tummy-turning rides that it's only natural that a kid's delicate stomach would get upset. Former janitors shared that they would occasionally get a code V on the walkie-talkies and have to go clean up the mess. Yeah, you can guess what the V stands for. Yuck. And that's all for the 10 dark secrets Disney theme parks don't want you to know. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.